What is up, everybody? I am NoLucksGiven here, and how does that audio look? I think it can be a little bit quieter for the music, but thank you guys very much for joining me. Gonna do some modern Kikki Chord leagues here, and I also have one other cool thing going on today. Finally got myself a face cam. So, first time trying this out. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited that you guys will be able to see my reactions and stuff like that. And hopefully it'll make you guys feel a little bit more connected to the action here, what's going on. But that's the idea. I'm not super sure, never really have used a face cam before while playing Magic, so I'm not sure if the idea is, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. And this is the deck we're looking at here. Kikki Chord, Kikki Mirror Breaker, Chord of Calling, and just a whole bunch of other sweet green cards. So if you've seen me play this before on stream, you know what the deal is. If you haven't, I do have a link on my YouTube channel that is a complete primer. It's about an hour long, but it goes into great detail of all the cards and interactions in the deck, or at least the ones that I thought were pertinent. Here is the sideboard that we're going to be playing today. No Chameleon Colossus today, but all the other sweet stuff. No Kitchen Finks either. We've put a second Kitchen Finks in the main deck, cut a Fiery Justice to make room, and because Kitchen Finks is great everywhere, and it's great with our Eldritch Evolutions and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's hop into a Modern League here. Without further ado. All right, there we go. So, yeah, League Play and Competitive Modern League. There we go. Sweet. Very fun weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed their pre-release events. How do I look? How's my framing? If I'm leaning back here a little bit. Oh, that looks fine. Okay. Yeah, hope everybody enjoyed their pre-release events. Got some sweet dinos and vampires and other things like that from Ixalan. And yeah, I had a pretty fun one. One of my pre-releases, I had 3 of the 6/6 Trampler for 6. That was pretty much my deck. Just played a whole bunch of him. And then what did I do the other pre-release? I had a 9/9, the 8-mana 9/9, and then I also had the Mind Control. So I just ramped into that, and in one match I actually had my own 9/9 and one of my opponent's 9/9s that I stole from them. So that was pretty silly. Mind Control seems pretty big in a slow, rampy format. Sand seems fine. It's a little bit awkward, but I'm going to keep it. Blood Moon and Avalanche Riders, is the combo. It's going to be harder to cover up my burps now that you guys can see them as well. But with our opponent mulliganing to 6, we've got a Blood Moon, we've got a basic Forest and a basic Plains, and then we just need to draw one more land to cast this Avalanche Riders here. Looks like we might be playing against Esper Death Shadow. That would be my first guess. No, looks like Mardu. Mardu is alive and well, but it is going to be a Mardu control-y deck, and my opponent's going to see 2 Blood Moons, and he can't take both of them just yet, so maybe he will just take the Avalanche Riders, maybe he'll just take the Chord of Calling, but can't take everything here. I would think that my opponent would... When you see 2 of a card like Blood Moon that's redundant like that, I think you just let them keep it. Because your only other option is just to hope beyond all hope that you find another discard spell in the next turn. Actually, he'd have 2 turns to find it, but still. He might also be able to decide, you know what, I think I can play around Blood Moon this game. I can fetch a basic swamp next turn. I'll eschew having red mana, or eschew having black mana. Insolent Neonate. I think we've... No, I don't know what's going on here exactly then. Alright, Windswept Heath. I am moon flooded for sure, which is a little bit awkward. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to cast a Blood Moon here on my next turn. Crack Windswept Heath for a forest and then cast it. It's going to strand me with Chord of Calling in my hand, and it's also going to strand me with 2 other Blood Moons that, well, there's nothing I can do with those either. Alright, let's F2. Discarded a Vengevine, so it is the Vengevine deck. So Blood Moon definitely doesn't knock them out, or lock them out, rather. Oh, but what does lock them out is not having a second land at all. Yeah, I'm going to Blood Moon them. They might be able to Vengevine us eventually. Maybe this is just a sick bluff by them. They're thinking like, oh, I'll pretend like I only have 1 land. And then when I play my second land, play 2 creatures, I'll just get this Vengevine out. And that'll get them, but... I don't know, this seems reasonable enough to me. So they can't cast black spells. I don't think they have too many black spells in their deck, really. But yeah, if they go land, Goblin Guide, they definitely got me here. Alright, land, and with the current state of Magic Online, looks like that is still the old Blood Moon rules. So nothing's happening this turn. That's good. I am going to get out a Selfless Spirit, and hopefully we can draw something green for this Chord of Calling. Wall of Roots, best draw in our deck. Windswept Heath, a little bit too late here. We'll say no on that. We'll play a Selfless Spirit, and then we will ship it over to them. So, yeah, we have cut them off, and it is some kind of Mardu Vengevine deck. When you see Marsh Flats into Blood Crypt, I mean, your first thought is Mardu and Hello Kaleri. I just realized my chat is going to pop up over my face, isn't it? Let's move the chat up then. Maybe that'll look a little bit better. How does that look? Yeah, that looks right. Cool. Alrighty, and my opponent's going to play another land and then pass the turn again, this time showing us a Polluted Delta. So we've seen another puzzle piece here. Kitchen Finks is exactly what we want right about now. And part of the reason that I did decide to cast that Blood Moon is I was like, well, when I draw a Kitchen Finks, I'm going to be able to cast it, and that's such a good card against Vengevine. It can block one of the Goblin Guides, or it can just block the Vengevine, and then it's also gaining us life to boot. So, definitely felt a little bit risky on this Blood Moon, but now look, I'm at 21, they're at 13, and I'm swinging for 5 each turn. They still have not cast a spell. Alright, here come the spells now, though. Faithless Looting, are we going to see a 4/4? I only need to draw 1 more green creature to turn on this Chord of Calling, because I've got Kitchen Finks, Forest, and Chord here, so something like Wall of Roots, or even Birds of Paradise, still a great draw at this point in the game, and looks like we've got a spell here. Hollow One, sounds good. And how are they casting it so cheaply? Oh, for each card. I thought Hollowed One counted creature cards only. But Hollow One counts straight up cards here. So they're able to slam a 4/4. Not too shabby, but they don't play either Vengevine, which means they're just sitting on straight nothingness here. So I've got a few options. I could use Resto to reset Kitchen Finks, meaning I'm going to attack with Kitchen Finks here. Or I could use Resto and Kitchen Finks to double block Hollow One. I mean, I can do both, really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with both of them, and then I'm going to throw a whoops in the chat for my opponent. And maybe now they'll think that I made a mistake by attacking with kitchen finks there. Little dirty, but if this was in paper, you'd be able to better employ the idea of a bluff. I'll show you guys I'm not lying here either. Here's my whoops. All right, 3 mana is going to be a flashback on Faithless Looting. Sounds good to me. And I'm going to wait till Hollow One attacks, I believe. If Hollow One doesn't attack, I'm still going to flash in this Resto and hit my opponent for 5 in the air. All right, Faithless Looting gets exiled. They play another Mountain. Hollow One might actually just not attack. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense too. All right, now my opponent knows that we're bluffing. We're going to play in a Resto. So they can bolt Kitchen Finks in response now. Not even worried about that. I'd rather them bolt Kitchen Finks, and then I get to keep my Selfless Spirit. Lightning Axe on Resto. Okay, that's a little bit more annoying, and I am going to go ahead and give Restoration Angel Indestructible, because if I draw a Kikki, we win. Or if I draw a Forest or a Wall of Roots, I think we also win, right? Yep. All right, Eternal Witness is not quite a win, but it will let us continue these Restoration Angel beats. And I'm at 25 now against a deck that is really just an aggressive deck that is Blood Mooned. They've got 3 cards in hand. I don't think they're going to be doing anything to really affect us here too much. So I could Fiery Justice this Hollow One. That means that they'll gain 4 this turn, but then we'll get to start crashing in next turn. I think I like that. We only get punished if my opponent draws a basic Swamp here, and then I don't have Fiery Justice for their Lingering Souls. But I'm into it. So 4 and 1. And let's pay the mana. So this will put them up to 9, and then we're going to get to attack and put them down to 6. So we didn't do that much damage to them this turn, but we were able to turn our clock into a 1-turn clock, because they were at 8. That would have taken 3 hits with Restoration Angel to kill them from 8. But by Fiery Justicing them, we're able to put them down to 6 by being able to attack with Kitchen Finks. Pretty sweet first round there. Looks like the Blood Moons were pretty good. Magus of the Moon isn't going to be as good because it will never be a lockout. They'll always be able to kill it with something like Lightning Axe. Worship also seems great against this deck. It's going to be a low interactivity deck. So yeah, Worship's going to be really good. Scavenging Ooze is great. Path to Exile is great for Vengevine. Burned and Forged Tender might even be good. And Reclamation Sage and Quasali Pride Mage are also going to be great because they can... Reclamation Sage in particular, just having a 2-1 that can come into play and just straight up kill something is pretty great. So what do I not love? I don't love Revelark. I think Avalanche Riders is actually a little bit mediocre, even though my opponent thought Ceasus. They are, at the same time, a 4-color deck, at least. They're playing Polluted Delta as well. So either that is a budgetary fetch land, but they had Marsh Flats. That's one of the more expensive ones, too. So I think they might even have some blue cards in their 5-color deck over there, at which point Avalanche Riders, it's always going to be able to deny them at least 1 color. So that seems pretty good to me, too. Linvala stops the Menace guy from activating. Meh, doesn't seem that great. Cunning Spark Mage does seem good, though. The ability to... what does that kill? Because the Lingering Soul Spirits. So the ability to take those out seems really good. And Inferno Titan seems equally game-breaking for the same reason. So in matchups like this, my opponent's deck is pretty aggressive. I'm probably going to want to trim or completely cut Chord of Callings. Chord's also not great when you're on the Blood Moon plan. But we have Blood Moon and Fiery Justice that both seem pretty solid against them. The Fiery Justice a little bit less so because of the fact that all of their creatures are so recursive. Like Fiery Justice trades almost 1-for-1 with Lingering Souls, which isn't a great rate unless you can get a little bit more out of it. So we could cut like a Kikki into Fiery Justice, just try to be a mid-range deck that has access to Scavenging Ooze and Blood Moon against them, and Worship. Worship seems like it could be pretty dirty as well. But I definitely like Inferno Titan more than Kikki. I think I like the Avalanche Riders. Yeah, I'm going to cut down to 1 Kikki, and then, I don't know, I think I need to cut a green spell here, and it looks like we're going to play a 61-card deck, as I was unable to figure out exactly which one I wanted to do. That was fine. I knew that that was a potential option there as well. And this hand looks great. We can fetch up all basic lands and then have Fiery Justice or Kitchen Finks into Huntmaster of the Fells, which is a great curve as well. I'd really like to see a Birds of Paradise here in case my opponent's draw is too aggressive. So is this a 1-drop or a Thoughtseize? It's a Faithless Looting. That seems pretty fine, too. It means they're going to keep onto their creatures. Discard Cathartic Reunion Lightning Axe. So no Vengevines for them. And nothing else too crazy either. Okay, well this Arid Mesa, I think, is pretty likely to go and get a Plains. Windswept Heath will get a Forest on turn 2. And yeah, I'm just going to fetch up all basics. Don't love Basic Mountain. That doesn't really do anything for us. But being able to fetch up all of our basic plains and forests so that we can cast pretty much anything that we draw is pretty sweet. Street Wraith into Faithless Looting into the 4/4. That would be sweet. They could play the Menace guy, sacrifice him, discard a Vengevine, and then go land Hollowed One and bring back Vengevine. All right, Lava Man is really good. Luckily, we've got Cunning Spark Mage. I didn't bring in Linvala, unfortunately, though. But Cunning Spark Mage will still be pretty good against that. And honestly, all of our creatures are so deep. Oh, you know what? I've got Fiery Justice. What am I even talking about? All right, we're just going to Fiery Justice that on turn 3 then, dependent on what else they throw at us here. But, right, we don't have to be worried at all. What am I saying? What am I saying here? All right, Forest. I do really wish this thing was bigger. It never seems to save my settings, but I want my deck to be big when I'm searching through it, especially for lands, because otherwise it is way, way too easy to just misclick there. All right, so Voice of Resurgence is going to come out. We've got a 2/2 pretty rock-solid creature, and it's going to take a while for my opponent to ping down this Voice of Resurgence. I'm definitely willing to just play Kitchen Finks on my opponent's turn if they do nothing else, just to get out a little bit ahead here. All right, and is this a Lingering Souls? No, it's not. It's a Liliana. All right, well, that's fine then, too. So they'll tick up Liliana, and then I will Fiery Justice them and Grim Lavamancer, and I will still get a pretty solid 2-for-1 here. My opponent's going to gain a full 5 life and go back up to 17, but that is a great reward for being able to 2-for-1 my opponent. Fire Justice killing a Planeswalker and a creature doesn't happen too often. Oh, I could even, like, block here. That's a silly attack for my opponent, I guess. I could block and then be able to attack Liliana for 2, but I don't want to do that. Actually, I could attack it for 3 if I played Huntmaster. Oh, I can't play Huntmaster. Never mind. All right, so let's just untap here. And, ooh, Worship 2. That card is great, especially with this hand. So 4/1, say okay. Say that's how I'm going to pay, and then we just have to redirect to Liliana. And we get a pretty nice 2-for-1. Our opponent gains a bunch of life, so it's 17 all, but look at my hand. I'm feeling pretty okay about this one. I'm definitely feeling pretty okay. We get to play Huntmaster, Kitchen Finks, and Worship. Yeah, I figured they would need to have some kind of discard spell. Even then, being able to see all of this, they just have to take Worship because I don't think they can beat this card. They may have boarded in answers for Blood Moon, at which point they're going to have some answers for Worship too, but yeah, they're going to come to that same conclusion. Worship has got to go. Oh, what's kind of funny is you can Thoughtseize yourself to make... Alright, that's not really going to do too much here. They're going to get their Collective Brutality out of their hand the turn before I play Huntmaster of the Fells. Well, that's got to tell us something, but I think I still want to be mana efficient. So unless I draw a Birds of Paradise here, I am still going to play this Huntmaster of the Fells. Alright, well there's a Birds of Paradise. I guess I can go ahead and play that then instead. And the main reason I'm playing Birds of Paradise here instead of Kitchen Finks, my opponent probably has an answer to Huntmaster if they were willing to spend their Collective Brutality. So this doesn't change our clock at all. It still allows us to swing for 3, but it probably protects our Huntmaster a little bit. And Kitchen Finks is just as resilient. So I assume we're going to start to see some things like Lingering Souls this turn. Or we got baited. No, okay, they've got a Death Shadow. Well, that's fine. Yeah, I don't really care about Death Shadow too much here. Like I said, I have to assume that they've got another Collective Brutality. I think I'm actually going to let this Windswept Heath continue to be a mountain here. So let's just play a Blood Moon. And now my opponent can only cast red and black spells while I can cast everything. I'm going to hang on to Huntmaster and Windswept Heath in case they have a Liliana of the Veil in there. And I can make Death Shadow into a 4/4, but put my opponent down to 9. How does that sound? They might not know that they're allowed to block, though, either. Alright, maybe they'll just take it all. I don't think I'm just going to get Timur Battle Rage one-shotted. So how this rules interaction works here, my opponent can block either of these two creatures and Death Shadow actually won't die. Let's see if they know the rules interaction. They do indeed. So, but it won't kill my Elemental either here. Unless, of course, they had a Street Wraith. Yep. So they just bounce off each other. Nothing too crazy. And this now still stops my opponent from playing stuff like Lingering Souls, things like that. So I'm definitely still happy to just be able to play my cards here. Play my Blood Moon. Moon them out. I don't think that they can attack. Pretty sure if they attack, we just smash back for way more damage there. Alright, so now I'm looking for a 2-drop. Like, Scavenging Ooze is always great. Oh, wow, Resto Angel. That's a really good one. I'm going to play Huntmaster of the Fells pre-combat here. And that's going to allow my Elemental token to turn into a 5/5. So if I attack with Kitchen Finks and the Elemental token, they get to block the Elemental and take 3. If I attack with just the Elemental token, they've got to just take the full 5 here. Yeah. That seems really good. They could have a Street Wraith again. I think I said Shriek Maw last turn, but they could have a Street Wraith again to kind of turn this on its head. But this time we're actually generating more damage by only attacking with one creature. They could Lightning Strike Huntmaster the Fells. That looks like what we're going to see. No, they're going to Lightning Axe the Elemental token? Okay, well, I am happy with that, too. I thought for sure Huntmaster the Fells was going to get Lightning Axed. They must still have the Collective Brutality that we put them on when we cast Kitchen Finks instead. Yeah, it looks like that is going to be the case. So, Huntmaster's going to go down, and I'm not going to be able to save it here. No, Insolent Neonate first. Are they going to dig for it? They might. Nope, they're just going to let me flip my Huntmaster of the Fells. So on my turn, I'm going to do nothing. Huntmaster of the Fells is going to flip, and suppose it will kill Insolent Neonate at that point, right? Oh, this is what I want to read. 2 damage to target creature, or to target opponent. Okay, so it won't fizzle if the creature goes away. That sounds good. What else do we need to do? If we attack with Kitchen Finks and Wolf, we lose Kitchen Finks and hit them for a few points of damage. No, I think I just want to be attacking them with Restoration Angel while making a bunch of value here. So let's just pass the turn. I could even save this Resto until Huntmaster is actually able to flip and we can guarantee it. But we're going to put them down to 7 here, which is still a little bit of a clock for our Restoration Angel. It's still a 3-turn clock, so the flip doesn't change the clock here. But if we can flip the Huntmaster again, then that's going to make their life points even smaller. So they're going to go ahead and rummage, discarding Hollow One. Discarding Hollow One here. And drawing something from the top of the deck. We have, that looks like a Faithless Looting to me. Alright, Faithless Looting, cast with Flashback. Sounds good, no complaints. Death Shadow goes to a 6/6. Okay, and here comes a Hollow One. Just in time for a Reclamation Sage draw. No sweat. Alrighty. Yeah, this doesn't seem particularly close. We'll go up to 22, grab another Wolf token, and I think we can just attack with everything here. My opponent blocks with Kitchen Finks. Yeah, takes 7, takes 9, and dies. We actually have lethal already. We don't even have to play Reclamation Sage, but we might as well. Oh, we can even kill the Death Shadow here if we wanted to. That'll do it. Like I said, we had him even without that Reclamation Sage, but seemed too sweet to play. Seemed a little bit too sweet. That's why you board it in there. The Hollowed One just has a additional drawback of being an artifact, because he is a colorless, non-Eldrazi creature. So that's going to happen. Yeah, Huntmaster is real good. How you doing, Trash Hermit? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see your name. I know you hang out sometimes and don't talk too, but always good to see you. We won the die roll, so we get to be on the play here. And we've got a hand that can cast Fiery Justice, so I'm going to keep and hope Fiery Justice is a good card. Our opponent immediately moles down to 6 and keeps their hand. Do a lot of lurking. That is quite acceptable. Let's play Stomping Grounds first. And we'll have a turn 2 Selfless Spirit, turn 3 Fiery Justice that we can crack our Windswept Heath to go get. We're going to see some Goblin Guiding action here. Goblin Guide I won't mind that much because we also have the Selfless Spirit. Looks like that is going to be the case, though. Alright, so... And we did hit, so I guess you can't complain too much if you hit off the Goblin Guide as well. I'll hang on to this Arid Mesa here and just play a spooky little selfless spirit. This matchup is winnable. It's part of the reason that I brought in another Kitchen Finks. Blood Moon is actually really good against red deck wins or burn. Alright, here comes a Swift Spear. We're going to trade Selfless Spirit off for Goblin Guide here. That is the plan. You want to just take as little damage as you can at every possible outcome here. So what does Goblin Guide reveal? Wall of Roots. Alright, well that's a pretty good draw too. What do we want to do here then? Yeah, I'm still just going to block. Alright, so we'll take 1 or 2. Looks like 1. Cool. I could have blocked the Swift Spear. It's a little bit risky, though, to do that. And now we're going to see a post-combat Lava Spike or Grim Lavamancer. What do we got? Rift Bolt. Oh, yeah, Rift Bolt makes a lot of sense. Alright, well, my opponent's still going to have a really tough choice with this Rift Bolt. If they point it at the Wall of Roots, honestly, I'm fine with that. All we're trying to do here is actually curve out into Restoration Angel Kikki. So we just need one more land here. We have enough red sources already. And if the Wall of Roots can survive, then the Wall of Roots is even going to be able to act as our last land. That said, I'm still going to be happy if Wall of Roots is able to get bolted post-combat or something like that. With our life total this high, though, I really don't think we're going to have to worry about too much this game. We had a pretty good curve here against what my opponent has. So Rift Bolt, I assume the first Rift Bolt pre-combat just goes at my face. And Rift Bolt is targeting me. Targeting my face. And I'm going to go down to 14. I will block Wall of Roots, though, so we'll soak up that damage here, at least. Snap Block. If Wall of Roots gains me 5 life, he did his job. And if he hits a Lightning Bolt as part of that, even better. Searing Blaze? Searing Blade? Yeah, that sounds fine. Alright, let's crack this. Get crack-a-lackin'. And... yeah, let's just grab a Stomping Ground here. Alright, so we take some damage. We're able to play a Voice of Resurgence or a Restoration Angel here, though. Resto is quite tempting. The question is, if my opponent plays a... That's really tricky. That's really tricky. Yep, got the cam all set up. I think I just like Restoration Angel here. Just try to win the game next turn. The thing is, Kikki is such a fragile creature, though, too. So that part I don't love. With my opponent with only 3 cards in hand. Yep, I'm going to go with Resto. I agree. I can fetch Arid Mesa for Basic Mountain. The question is, if I go for the Resto plan, do I block the Swift Spear? That's the other question with Resto. Double Swift Spear here, all the way across the sky. No other plays from my opponent. I'm going to block one of them. The thing is, if my opponent has a Lightning Bolt, they can kill Kikki here anyways. So, And I'm eschewing green mana here in favor of just making sure we've got triple red. Yeah, they're not bolding the face, but they're also not bolding the Kikki. And I think that's the most important thing. If they bolted the face, I don't think that I'd care as much. But if they bolt the Kikki, then there's no point in even keeping the Restoration Angel around either. So it looks like this is going to be a Lightning Helix on Resto or a Boros Charm to the face. Boros Charm to the face, I am definitely happy about. That means land and we win. All right, Boros Charm to the face, land and we win. We've Kikki-Jiki'd out a burn deck. That would be pretty sweet. So we're going to drop to 5 from the Boros Charm, 3 from the Swift Spear. We might even be dead if my opponent is able to untap. Oh, they went for the double strike! They went for the double strike! I've never even seen that mode used! Wow! All right, well played. Well played. So we stay at 7 life points here, and my opponent gets some sick double striking action off. I respect that. I respect that a lot. Okay, so we are going to play a Voice of Resurgence. I'm going to snap black with Voice of Resurgence. If we hit a land, now we get to Inferno Titan. Here comes the Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide's going to get blocked by Voice of Resurgence, and we also get to see what is on top of our deck here, so we get to make a little bit more of an educated decision. There we go. There's the land for Kikki. That kind of makes me want to keep around Voice of Resurgence. Oh, but you know what? Never mind. We've got Inferno Titan now. All right, so Inferno Titan is coming down next turn. And what do they have? Atarka's Command, no Skullcrack. Put us down to 4. Swift Spear puts us down to 2. But now they're Hellbent. So they've got to draw a burn spell next turn or they lose. If we draw a way to get Kitchen Finks into play, though, that would be really good, too. Oh, Blood Moon. Wow. Okay, well, I really want to cast that Blood Moon, too. That is sweet. Double strike on Death Shadow from Boros Charm. So all of their creatures are dead draws. We could also make all of their Boros Charms and Lightning Helixes dead draws as well. I agree. I think I also need to Inferno to win here. I agree with the assessment that everybody else is coming down to. We win next turn if we Inferno Titan this turn because we get to Kikki it. So I think I have to be content with just an Inferno Titan here. Just a lowly little Inferno Titan. I might lose the game. My opponent, if they draw a Boros Charm, there's going to be a little bit of salt, but otherwise, we're not really going to get too punished here. So let's kill Swift Spear just to keep them off of haste creatures winning the game, and then let's smack 4/4. This means we're going to have lethal next turn here. Yeah, winning is pretty good. The fact that I have Kikki in hand, too, to make this a win next turn, I guess it was a win next turn without Kikki, too. All right, let's see. Did we dodge it? Lightning Bolt to the face. All right, so that's game 1. They get us. We're dead, but we should be able to potentially still win this matchup out. I don't like any of these expensive cards right here, so those are going to be the first things that I'm going to cut. I'm also going to cut Magus of the Moon. Do like Obstinate Baloth. I think I can board in Worship. I think I can afford to do that here. And then I like things that blow up. Eidolon. I like Scavenging Ooze. I like Path to Exile. And I even like Selfless Spirit if I can find room for it. Yeah, wouldn't have mattered what I played, though, because they had... Yeah, we just had to hope that they bricked for a turn. They drew pretty well that game, but it wouldn't have mattered what I'd played there because they were going to be able to get us regardless. So I think I like still access to 1 Kikki in the deck. But what else do I typically board out as well? It would either be a Blood Moon, an Evolution. I think I like boarding out Evolution as well. Just board out my most expensive cards. I'm going to be in the best position if I can just play 2 drops against my opponent. It would be really sweet if, like, you could Fire Justice your own creatures and gain life. That would make this card even more busted. Not that it needs to be that much better, but it would open up some really sweet lines where you could blow up your own creatures to gain life against burn decks. Worship seems great, though. I think this is typically how I sideboard. We only have 4 outs to Grim Lavamancer, so we could board in like Cunning Spark Mage. But I think this is going to be good aplenty. Yeah, Blood Moon would not have stopped that lightning bolt. Not quite. Alright, so turn 2 Qasali Pride Mage, or never mind, Voice of Resurgence into a turn 3 Fiery Justice. This seems good enough. We get to play turn 1 Temple Garden, turn 2 Crack Windswept Heath for Forest. Turn 3 Crack Arid Mesa for Mountain. Goblin Guide, no Swifty. That's fine. And we got a Worship here too. So as much as I want to block with this Voice of Resurgence, it could also just not. For the time being, let's go ahead and crack this for a Forest, though. We'll figure out. Yeah, there's a lot of awkward hands with this deck. And yeah, Kikki Jiki, we've mulliganed to 6, but you know what? It was a pretty good 6-card hand. No block. No blocks ever? I could see it. You guys don't like blocking at all. Well, but the thing is, if we block, it still gets a Lightning Bolt out of their hand. So, like, my opponent clearly has Lightning Bolt here if they're attacking with both. So they could either Lightning Bolt this Voice of Resurgence, or they could Lightning Bolt... Like, they still have to use a Lightning Bolt here if we block. And if we don't block, we take 7 down to 11. I'm not even going to be able to get Worship out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get Worship out. All right, we'll see if they cast their Lightning Bolt. I'm going to try it. I don't like it. I like blocking here. We'll see. We'll see. All right, they are still going to run out the Lightning Bolt on our face. Oh, I have Justice for turn 3. Okay. I can get behind that. And that means we just need to get 1 land in the next 2 draw steps. Alrighty, let's drop down to 10 here. Alrighty, so let's clear the board here. Oh, I definitely don't attack. I'm pretty sure I have to block a Goblin Guide if a Goblin Guide attacks. The thing is, I just don't know if... I don't know if I'm going to be able to Worship next turn. I don't know if I'll have enough life points. You think if my opponent plays Goblin Guide next turn, I don't block it? Alright. I'll try it out. No blocks given. Okay, a tapped Sacred Foundry is pretty good news. And this looks like an Eidolon? No, it's a Searing Blaze. Okay. So we get a 1-1, which means our Worship doesn't seem too strong here. But we do get to swing for 3 if we draw a... nothing. If we draw nothing. Alright, I guess I'll just keep attacking. Yeah, that's fair. I think we're just dead even without worship now, though, because we didn't hit the land, and now my opponent can just lightning bolt us and Boros Charm us. I'm supposed to take this here? I'm supposed to go down to 5? I don't like it. Then I can't even crack a fetch land. Well, let's see what's on top. Let's see what's on top. All right, I drew a Wooded Foothills. I don't think I can take this. I think I've got a block. And then they're going to play an Eidolon, right? Yeah, that's a decent trigger. Okay, so now they're going to have to kill our elemental token. We still need a little bit more than this to get out of this mess here, but I could see this working. They could just be on mono Boros Charms. They could double bolt us right now even too. They've kind of got a small window here. All right, so they didn't have the double bolt, so let's attack for 1. Yeah, Kikki's definitely rough. We're only 1 more red source off from casting Kikki, though. All right, so Swift Spear, that is fine. All right, they just swing for 1, and they are content with that. There's another land for Kikki. Yeah, I know I don't care about the Swift Spear, but it's not the craziest idea to just kill it, though, too. I'm going to play Arid Mason now, while I still have the life points available to pay for it. There's only 1 basic mountain in the deck. So, because we already fetched it out, Arid Mesa's gonna go and have to grab a Sacred Foundry or Stomping Grounds. Yeah. 2 basic mountains, though, would also be nutty. Alright, is this an answer to the elemental token? Looks like they probably have us dead here if they're casting Lava Spike. So I'm going to crack this first. I'm going to go get Sacred Foundry. And now I can just take this damage from Swift Spear for free. Okay. We're good. We're good. My opponent didn't kill us. Ooh, Scavenging Ooze. How many creatures do we got? 3 Swift Spears, a Goblin Guide. Oh, we got a lot of creatures. We're back in the game, baby. We are back in the motherfucking game. I'm going to go ahead and exile 2 Swift Spears right now, because my opponent clearly, they might have Skullcrack, but they clearly do not have a Lightning Helix or a Lightning Bolt. So let's go ahead and get Scavenging Ooze out of Lightning Bolt range. And now I'm going to actually attempt to block with the Elemental Token. No, I'm not blocking anything here. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Swift Spear damage again. Right, what does that play around? Yeah, they have to go both of our creatures. So as long as we never let Scavenging Ooze die. Oh, yeah. It's not damage. It's pay life. Yeah, so... Yeah, as long as Scavenging Ooze never dies, which now we know my opponent has no burn spells that can target creatures. They have to draw 2. And... Until they do that, Scavenging Ooze is just going to keep on getting bigger and bigger. Next turn, we get to make Scavenging Ooze a 7/7, at which point they need to draw... I mean, a Path to Exile would be good. Maybe they've got Path to Exile in their deck, but if they don't have Path, they're going to have to draw 3 burn spells that can target my creatures. Also, we can start Kikki in if we want to do that. I don't think that that gets us anywhere, but it would be sweet. Yeah, I mean, I'll just play Kikki. I don't see a reason not to. I don't really see this going anywhere too terrible for us. So I'm going to turn myself off of Scavenging Ooze for a turn here. We've got more than enough creatures. I just want to start making our voice token as big as possible. So swinging for 7 here when your opponent's at 14. Excuse me. Yeah, every creature is basically a counterspell. That's a great way to look at it. And every creature also adds to our Voice of Resurgence clock. So that was the main reason I was doing that there. Just dump my hand down. You got 6 mana. Might as well cast a Birds of Paradise and a Kikki Mirror Breaker, right? Discouraged. Alrighty, and that should be enough to end it here. Yeah, it was over. It was pretty over there. Alrighty, so how did that look? That looked pretty good. Those warships were definitely decent for us. Avalanche Rider seems bad when my opponent's only playing 2-color Kikki. Cunning Spark Mage would have had no targets. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Chord of Calling, again, just slow. Revelark is honestly a little bit fine. Might even be better than Kikki. Yeah, voices like Glen Elendra. Oh, that's a good point. I could have copied the voice token. Yeah, you're right. I just wasn't thinking. I'm so used to copying actual Voice of Resurgence and never targeting the token that I did not think about that. Good point. All right, this looks like a good hand on the other side of things. Just a solid 1-2-3 curve where I can fetch a lot of basics. I don't have to shock myself here. So I'm going to Path to Exile whatever this is attacking me here. If it's a Goblin Guide, I'll wait till it triggers against me on turn 2. Rev is better. It brings back 2 dudes for worship. That's true. That's true. I like the ability to combo, though. Just the fact that we're going to have access to it in our deck somewhere seems pretty solid to me. Alrighty. And I don't love running Scavenging Ooze out there turn 2 either. But I think we are going to have to do that if we are able to. And looks like my opponent's got some Swifties for us as well. No, an Eidolon. Alright, well I can Rec Sage that. But I'm going to take damage from Scavenging Ooze. It also means we don't get to Goblin Guide trigger. I think that's fine. I'm just going to make the best play for the turn every turn. So I think we've got enough tools here to win the long game. Let's just make the best play for each turn as soon as we can. We are on the draw, so we don't want to get too greedy now. They're probably both going to go ahead and fetch Basic Forests. But I do think I want to play Scavenging Ooze here. The sooner we play Scavenging Ooze, the sooner we can Eternal Witness it back, is kind of my thought. And it still makes my opponent spend a full card on it. And if they don't, then that seems great too. Yeah, so let's get Scavenging Ooze onto the battlefield. It's going to put us down to 14. A little bit scary. Also scary is the fact that my deck never stays big. Alright, so we take 2 damages here, down to 14. My opponent with 4 cards, if they all represent 3 points of damage, that's a little bit bad. If Eidolon attacks, I also can't block because I have Reclamation Sage in hand. So there's just no way blocking is correct. So Eidolon's going to get in for a pretty juicy 6 points of damage in total. Not bad. Hopefully they don't play another Eidolon. It would be kind of sweet because I could resto my Rec Sage. But I'd much rather not take 4 damage from casting Rec Sage here. Searing Blood on the Ooze. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. It's a little bit worse for us than some of the alternative options, though. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just grab a basic forest. We're going to go down to 6 when we cast this Rec Sage, so it's not looking too pretty, I'll be honest. If Rec Sage survives, we get to evolution it away for a Hunt Master and then try to resto the Hunt Master. What I'm hoping is they Boros Charm for indestructibility. Nope, they're going to Lightning Helix while Eidolon is still in play. That means that they just have lethal and could give a fuck. There's the Lava Spike. GG. Lose to burn. It's unfortunate, but it happens sometimes.